Lady Psycho Killer is about a girl named Ella who's incredibly sweet and innocent, and she starts off her first year at university totally new to the world. She gets an assignment from her professor that takes her off balance a bit, and the assignment is to break a sexual norm. And so after just a little bit of very brief research, she decides that the sexual norm that she's going to break is to become a serial killer. I am Nathan Oliver.
I'm Albert Melamed.
And we're here for Lady Psycho Killer's world premiere at Fantasia International Film Festival. The inspiration for this came from a lot of different places. The characters are an amalgamation of many people that we both have collectively known through the years and kind of all condensed into one or two people. We also are very inspired by slasher films, and honestly, the WB after-school specials, the WB teen dramas like Gilmore Girls and things like that. Seventh Heaven, yeah.
Party of Five, all that stuff. And it's like essentially the movie takes that essence of those shows and tropes it into a thriller slasher kind of. And it's like also, it's like the ridiculous moral lessons that so many of the shows gave in the 90s, just how to tackle different problems, and we kind of combine that with how do you tackle different problems like being a serial killer. How does a serial killer be in a relationship when she's 18?
Right. When you think of the wild nature of the premise, but watch our film next to an episode of one of these shows, we very much lifted the structure. And you still get the same feeling you get when you watch, Party of Five. But, a lot darker, a lot more violent. It's also something that we had discussed for months before going in. Like, we can make this movie like a straight up slasher flick. We could have, and it was never our interest or intent. So we started analyzing a little bit more. What is it about a character? What is it about a dialogue exchange that draws an audience every week into, say, Gilmore Girls? And when we're reading it or when we're studying that, we're seeing, okay, so there's these weird movements that don't normally translate in a feature film. So combining, I guess, two styles, I think, for the actors was essential.
I think that's why it was so important. We stressed a lot for Nathan to spend a lot of time with Kate, as much as they can offset, kind of to be able to get to know each other a lot more personally, to be able to understand, like she was about 19, I think, when we, she was something like 19 when we shot. And so, young girl just coming, like she probably just got out of high school, like a year out of that. So the age range is fresh in her mind, the mentality is just fresh in her mind.
It was a lot of fun to watch somebody grow on our set the way that our character was growing in the movie. We had Michael Madsen as our professor. Just in the name and the type of roles he normally associates with was very much by design. Like, no, we want Michael Madsen standing there, Mr. Blonde, the most psychotic villain of all time, being the one that has the moral center of the movie. So these were things that we cracked up when we're reading it and when we're talking to them about it. It was just so counterintuitive, but worked very, very well.
Yeah, like we essentially intentionally miscast.
Yeah.
Like how it was so funny having Michael Madsen play a professor. And I mean, that honestly, that spiked intrigue from him. It was something that he's not usually asked to do. Malcolm McDowell is kind of a pedophile neighbor.
Yeah. But never overtly, never like clearly like, oh yeah, we're gonna come in and take advantage of this young child. But very subtle. Well, not so subtle in some points, but he never actually does anything wrong, but he is the greasy old guy that he just never plays, ever.